Yeah, I guess you never know. Sometimes you just gotta do runs. And in my case, I really feel like doing some runs again for whatever reason. So I'm back. Back with a few more today. All right, let me turn down my volume. I'm thinking that I want to run without my splits. What I'm actually thinking is I want to add more splits in between for each of the hacks, just to kind of get a better sense for how long each of those take. But that seems like a pain. I think there are 3 hacks in between though. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. 4A, 4B, 4C. All right. Yeah, I think we're just going to try it like this. Actually, let me open up the edit splits again, and I'm just going to delete all of those. All right, and then let me save this as full game glitchless B3. Cool. I'm also going to wipe my attempts. I have not attempted with these splits. Nice. All right. So let's get into this. It must be because it's been such a long time since I actually ran why I'm feeling like, oh, I really want to run. Alright, there we go. My volume is way too loud. I'm going to need to fix that after this. Alright. Why is my volume so loud? Sometimes it's a little weird with my headphones. But oof. The game is like loud normally. That was like obnoxiously loud. It was bad. So yeah, we'll see how this run goes. Alright. Hopefully it goes well. Well, that's a little disappointing with some of those shots, but hey, that's okay. Alright. Oof. This is going a little rough. That's alright though. That's playing at 144 Hertz again. Feeling good about things. Alright. Looks like there's no one here. Nice. But yeah. I don't know if 240 Hertz helped in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to be honest. I think we're surrounded. It's like, nah, we're not surrounded. It's fine. Alright. We're gonna reset that. That was going poorly to say the least. The hardest thing is managing that far spawn. If you get them early, you're good. That was slow. Hold on. I want to do like a good one, which means I need to stop shooting. I need to train myself, or I need to train myself to continue shooting instead of stopping every once in a while on this. One like that. Like, it wasn't the greatest in the world. I should be shooting slightly earlier. I have 10 shots to burn through, and they all need to hit the target. That was okay. That was okay. So for the spawns here, I want to keep dashing up there, but the idea is you want to get up here quickly so you stop spawns from happening further back. That sucks. Double sucks. Because, yeah, then you have to go slow like that. That kind of slowness is like 2-3 seconds of your speed. Alright. Thankfully, you don't need to dash too fast through that part. Alright, looks clear. Yep, no extra spawn. Nice. Slightly early split. Could be better. Like, this is the spawn that you really care about. And what you really care about out of that spawn is not seeing, Alright, I'm gonna blow this here. Because I want to try and pull... Oh, there they are. Because what I've realized is the name of this game really is kill things quickly. Take a breath. You want to... Phases are as long as all the enemies last, and in a lot of them, they all spawn pretty quickly. Alright, no new enemies here. I don't think there were any additional spawns. Part of killing things quickly means killing things as far away as possible. So like for these, there's definitely an element of snipe the things at their spawn point. Spawn camp hard, because spawn camping is very good. Ooh, I'm taking a lot of damage. That is not very good. Alright. There are lots of things happening. I think that's all the spawns though. I really hope that's all the spawns. Yep. Alright. Ooh, that was a little dicey. I'm going to heal after I get this kill. Ooh, that's early. I got him. Oh, that's a spicy early one right there. Alright. We're good though. So... But yeah, you want to manipulate spawns and you want to kill things early. The only exception in the whole game is literally this hack, where you have 3 different hacks that you need to do. That split was slightly early. For this, you actually don't care too much about killing things quickly. You just need to kill things by the final time limit. Well, even then, you just need to kill what you need to kill. That is the cold, hard reality of this one. That's less than ideal. Alright. Figured it out. I'm gonna clear that up there. The hope is that they spawned up there. And what I'm starting to realize with this is what I likely want to start doing from now on. Oof, that's a lot of damage. That's like all my time. Oh well, it's fine. That'll be... Wow, I lost a lot of HP there, even though I literally just healed. I may die. That's alright though. Nice, got the heal off. Alright. I'm really hoping that I don't get... Okay, didn't get lasered. Want to make it clear. Alright. This fight is fun because there's, like, crisis management in it. Like, a big part of this run is actually just manage the fact that nothing is working. You actually kind of want to be like as close to this wall as possible for these spawns. I'm actually going to kind of cheese this a little bit. Alright. Ho ho. That worked a little bit better than I thought. I failed to split for all three of those, because I'm so used to not splitting. I'm going to need to skip a split. 3. Oh. I was off doing something else. So of course I screwed up my splits. And now I'm losing a bunch of time because I decided to do something I didn't need to do. No. Okay, got him. Get this hack in. Split properly. Yeah, 701 is actually pretty bad. This run was actually doing really well. It could have been a much better run than a 701. But alas, can't win them all. Alright. Alright, come on. Alright, let's see how it goes though. That's not what I wanted to have happen at all. Alright, well. C'est la vie. 741. Like, not the best time in the world. Certainly doable. The reality is, though, any run can world record if you get a good blunder. Oh, I wasn't supposed to hit that button. Alright. I just want to... If you get them moving, you kind of just want to strafe a little bit. Alright. Got the kills. That wasn't ideal, but it worked out. One other thing is, anytime you're not spending killing something is time lost at when you're going for like world record in this. Alright. 852 ain't bad. I think there's a slight time save over my PB for that. Well, my PB for that is a minute 10, so that was a minute 11. And I think the best time I've ever done is a minute 6 on that phase. Oh, you know what? I was actually under a minute 10 thinking of it, because load time is in this one. So that was actually a really good one, thinking of it. Which makes sense, I got very few spawns at the end. Alright, I'll probably, if I remember, or if I do really well on this run, I'll retime the hacks I missed. Alright. Getting used to the whole hitting reload as the hand goes back, kind of important. Alright, so I'm going to bait this out this way. Nice. What does Blunder give me? Bullets. Bullets is fine. Give me your fist. Rockets is not great. Rockets is poor. Swipe is good. Alright. If he gives me fists next, we're actually in the clear. What I mean by in the clear is we have a good time. Oh yeah, he gave me fist. We have a good time. Alright. We made it under 20. We're good. The rest of this is really just me getting into position. Alright, let's do this. Ooh, an 11:11 on Blender. That's not bad. I don't. Oh, this could actually be world record. This will be tight, I feel, for a good world record, but this could be a world record. Tight though. Alright, and boom. That's a world record. Oh yeah. Because my last world record was 11:44 without loads. Which makes it all the saltier, because I lost 2 seconds to... probably lost more than 2 seconds to a bunch of stuff in the hack section. I could have fixed my times afterwards, but I decided to fix them then. Great. New splits immediately into a world record, meaning I have to save the new splits. And I'm not like... And I screwed up the new splits too. That's alright though. That's not the best time I've ever gotten, but it's certainly a good time. Let's do another one in that case. Because what I really need is a... What I'm really looking for is sub 1130. It may kill the category if I get that, because that means that I got perfect RNG, I believe. Alright. It's stuff like that why I need to keep shooting, because I would have killed it if I just kept mashing the button and I wouldn't lose much time. But, yeah, that's nice. New world record. One. There we go. That's some shooting. Your position there really does seem to matter, because your shotgun spread RNG. I need to... There's so much that I want to do for this game, but like, I'm not good at editing videos, and I'm not super interested in it, if I'm going to be honest. I could stream a tutorial for this, and I probably should. That may be Tuesday's stream. Alright, 1, 2. 1, 2. Alright, well, not great. I can't believe I lost time in the first split. That surprises me. A lot, actually. That felt like a pretty decent first split. I think the worst part about this part is the bird there has already spawned. Everything spawns immediately at the start of the fight, but there's nothing you can really do about it. Ooh. I swung that almost a whole 4 seconds. Alright, let's see what we get here. Let me get that and blow this. Oh, some rapid decision making. Some of these spawns do require you to like really think through how you're going to get your kills. Alright. Good thing I noticed that missile. Alright, let me heal up here. That's everything for this. Take your breath. I feel like take your breath should have a split to it, but that would be a really painful split. Especially since I split off memory. Alright, nothing else. We're looking good. The point of dashing at that point, to make sure that you don't get spawns behind you. That's its whole purpose. Alright. The other thing here is making sure to get these kills quickly. Headshots are your best friend, even though you can't quite headshot some of these robots. Shields are the pain in the butt to headshot. Geez, what isn't a pain in the butt to headshot? Hit detection is kind of shaky. Alright, that should be good. Yep. I'm disappointed that I lost time between Hack 2 and Hack 3. I am quite disappointed, actually. Oh well. Getting those 4 A, B, and C hacks and the splits for those is kind of... it's going to be painful, I feel. Alright, there is time to save though in this section. Alright, so I want to... kind of want to just get yourself up here and kind of chill in the corner. The thing about doing this is it kind of glitches out some of the AI for the bots because you're like really close. Some of them don't notice you, and that's okay too. Alright. So this hack is safe. I can split on this one. Nice kills. Nice rockets. Hook them to the face. Okay. Something that I need to start learning how to do is how to kind of corral the spawns over to this side. Because that's like a big thing. You actually don't want to kill these as much as possible. You kind of want everything to stay up here, if you can. Because if it's up there, it's not killing you. Alright, this should be safe. That killed the run. Oh, salty. No. Well, it's fine. So the reason that killed the run is if rockets hit your hack point, it resets your hack timer, which really sucks. I should have gone for the kill there. It was my bad. Wow, I got like no hits on it But yeah, that was a good run going. I mean, I don't doubt I can do more good runs like that. Alright. Foot in point? Foot in point seems pretty okay. Alright, let's talk spawn points because we have time. One there, one there, one there, one there, one there, and 2 back there. Since enemies spawn closest to you, that's why I dash up there. It just makes it a little bit more consistent that you don't get really far spawns. And then I camp here to snipe the spawns down this way, if there are any. In this case, there weren't. Which is actually not too bad. Like, that's not a fast time. You're looking to get out of there with like a 50 on the clock. But that's okay. Like the time that I just put up, on average, I look for a 50, I guess around a 54. Alright, well, it's clear. I'm not seeing anything else. Nice. But spawn points here, there's one here, there's one there, there's one there. There's where those last set of spawns came from as well. That's bad. It's even worse. Got it. Alright, herd spawn over here. Don't have enough for super, now I do. Right. And then the area that I was running through, you can also get spawns there. Actually, generally for this game, anywhere that you have seen a spawn before, you can get a spawn, but spawn chances are determined by your distance to that point. So, the reason I dash up here is to prevent spawns from showing up behind me. I can get one spawn up here still though. Like, I could get a spawn here, I've seen them walking, or in that alleyway. Those are the weird spawns. This group can also have spawns in the alleyway too. Which may seem a little awkward, but... okay, I gotta watch out for my HP here. It's really easy to get, like, chipped out with the rocket barrages and just have nothing left in your tank. Ooh, like that. That sucks. That really sucks because that was a pretty good run. Every once in a while, I run into those where it's just like, ooh, I lost it all to a pretty bad set of rocket barrages. Like, I'm used to them giving me more lasers. Actually, hold on, let me take a second. I can hit him all the way from here. That's a lot of range on your shotgun. Like, it's a lot of range on the shotgun, and at the same time, it's like... Alright. The shotgun spread is still a bit random, so you never quite know what you're in for. Alright, one... So yeah, spawn points. So, by moving all the way up here, you basically prevent the spawn there, but you still get the ones there. Which is weird. And you could do the opposite, but you need to get to that point at the end of it anyway. So basically at that corner, right there, in the middle of my screen, you need to get there to move on to the next area, regardless, so... Alright, let's see what we get. I missed. Hit detection in this game can be a little weird sometimes. Yeah, it's a 55. 55 is pretty slow. It's not the worst. That's the funny thing. You can still get, I mean, it's a time loss and all, but you can save a lot of time in the other areas. Alright, let me get you. Get you. Looks like everything's dead. Yep. Nice thing about hacking is it will auto pick you up. As long as you're in range to hack, it will do the hacking for you. I can't shoot that from there. I got that though. That's really good. Alright. That's actually not the worst in the world. Okay. I think I'm going to need to turn around and get a bird kill or two. No? Nope. Just a bot. That was a bad bot though. Well, it's alright. It can always be worse. A good fight there, basically, you don't get another far spawn. Oh, screwed that up. I moved too quickly. It's actually a good opportunity to see how some of this works, though. So, alright, let's try it again. I'm going to try my best to explain things as I go. No, the lag is intense. Alright, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to reboot the game quickly, because I'm pretty sure it just crashed. And then I'm going to do my best to explain as much as I can in a single run. Because I'm both curious how well I can do that, and if it's good, I can use that for... for the tutorial video. And if it's not, Sure. I'm just gonna leave it there. Sure. We got a world record, which is really nice. I'm still chasing that sub 1130, which means I'm looking for an 1133 without loads time. How did it? Oh, that 38 is because I split early. That's why. So, spawn locations. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then there's 2 back there for 5 and 6. Spawns are based on your location. The farther away it is from you, the less likely you are to get a spawn. But you can manipulate them then by going all the way over here. And as you can see, by doing this manip, I was able to get actually an extremely good time. That was a 50 kill. That's about the fastest I've done those. Alright. That's a good example of getting a far spawn. That was a bit slow, but enemy spawn locations are still random. It's less of a chance of a bad spawn, but it doesn't guarantee you that you won't get one. So, that sucks. Come on. That was a lot of bad shots. Oof. But the spawn at least was right behind me, so I didn't lose too much on that. Sadly, I did lose a lot of time on that split, and that split is one where I actually usually save a bunch. The other place I save a bunch is here. Coming back up. Alright. So the reason I'm kind of watching this is because that's where I get the worst spawns. Those far spawns are really hard to kill, and if a shield spawns all the way there, they move really slowly. I don't see anything. There's something though. I just don't know where. 2 somethings. Oof, this has been a bit of a painful run, but we'll keep going. Actually, we won't, because I don't like the commentary. I shouldn't be commenting on how good or bad a run is. Alright, so opening the game. First thing to note is this game is very checkpoint based. You need to hit checkpoints in order to keep going. So this hits a checkpoint for me. Actually, you know what? I want to redo this. I love how I'm just doing all these live, but... Alright, welcome to the Dawn. I am trying to do a live recording of the tutorial, so forgive me if I miss some things or if I gloss over some things. But I wanted to introduce this game to everyone so you all know what it's like and kind of how do you go about speedrunning it. And if you want to do a casual run, maybe a little bit what that looks like. Let me stop my timer. We don't actually need the timer on. I was doing some speedruns before, but this is Maya. Maya is the character you play, and you can see she has a gun. Her gun has 2 modes to shoot. You have single shots, which you can see here. There it's kind of more of a sniper mode, and then she has shotgun. As you can see, the shotgun shoots extremely quickly. It's about as fast as you can click. The single shot though, if you mash, this is about as fast as you can go. If you do it with rhythm though, you can go a little bit faster. So this is a bit more rhythmic, as you can see. You have 10 shots and kind of a long reload, so ideally you want to manage your shot count and make sure that, you know, you don't need to reload too often. Now, something to note about the shotgun is you can see here there are only a few bullets that are hitting the wall. And if I step back a little bit more, even less. If I come closer though, and as I come closer you can see there are a lot more. You can also see there's a wide spread on this. And if I shoot a lot, you can kind of see that like the spread is all over the place. This is important to note because this is both one of the fastest ways to do damage, but also one of the least efficient ways to kill things. We'll get into that a little bit later as we go, because there are some mechanics that I can only explain with enemies. But for now, what you should know is the fastest way to kill something is to headshot them with a snipe shot. The second fastest way to kill something is to get in close and just mash your blast. The reason why mashing your blast is going to be a bit slower is because you used more bullets to do the same amount of work. and then you have to reload. And when you reload more, it's not great. Now Maya's other abilities. As you can see, Maya has a run speed that is set. She has a dash as well. You can see in the bottom left, you have a dash that recharges pretty much instantly from the minute you hit dash. And you have 6 dashes. So you can see the dash actually goes pretty fast. Hold on, let me recharge this. So recharge time is a little slow, so you do want to consider how you're doing it. But if we go forward, and you see my dashing here, right? I'm not going to time it because that would take a long time. Maybe if I decide to edit this in post, but going back running, you can see it's a lot slower. So you do want to move with dashes, but that depends. This gets back to this thing here, which is a checkpoint. I mentioned before this game is checkpoint based. You'll see what I mean, but basically nothing happens until you hit a checkpoint or you clear a wave. So dashing is a lot more strategic than just mash dash to go faster. Speaking of mash dash to go faster, you can see that I can dash like pretty much immediately after a dash finishes, but I don't get too far. You do want to make sure to time your dashes to catch the end of your last dash. And you can kind of tell when you see Maya move, when you see Maya's arms finally move back in, she has a fixed, basically a fixed pose for her dash. And if you time it right, you can extend your dash all the way and just have her kind of do a small wiggle. Other abilities. Your left shift ability is a time stop. If you put it down, it will stop time in this area for all enemies. You are fine, you still do everything. Your sound is a little distorted. That lasts about 10 seconds, and I believe it recharges in 15. It's very useful for stopping enemies, but also stopping projectiles. Hopefully in the run, you'll see a little bit of an example of that. Lastly, Maya has, well, second to last, because I can't show you the last thing, but Maya has what I like to call a heal, but it's a heal and a time reversal. So if I hit Q, all right, that was a really poor example of it. You saw the health thing around the screen though, that will heal Maya. When you have your gun out, you can see the health bar beside Maya or beside her head. That will also rewind your position. So let me just walk around a little bit so it actually works and you can see what I mean when I do this. But that move is very useful for keeping your HP up because you take a lot of damage in this game. It can also be useful for some mobility. So let me walk over here and then I'll show you. I believe it can rewind up to 10 seconds. So let's walk all the way here and then I dash back and you can see I'm all the way here now. The game does remember where you were, so you can do, if you plan it out well, you can actually do some interesting movements and kind of be at an area you want it to go back to, go investigate some other area for a potential spawn, and then hit Q to quickly get back. I believe the speed is slightly faster than dashing, so in some cases it can be ideal, but remember this is also your heal. And it's on, I believe it's also on a 15-second timer. So you'll have to be a little careful. Now the last move, and I'll show it to you probably by the time we hit the second hack, is after the second hack, is Maya's ultimate. It's not a screen clear bomb. It will attract a lot of enemies into one position for you and kill all of them while giving you invulnerability. But at the same time, it doesn't kill everything. Enemies that are too far away, or if there are too many enemies, it won't actually clear everything. I don't know exactly how many enemies it can capture. It seems a little inconsistent, but it can be a good get out of jail free card. I believe it's up to 10, and I don't know its range. Now, that's pretty much it for Maya's abilities. You're going to be using dash a lot, you're going to be using snipes a lot, you're going to be using shotgun. The time stop is something to note about your time stop. If you watch Maya's animation, I'm going to mash the attack button right after I click this and trigger it, and you'll see that there is a delay. So, there. Until Maya finishes her animation, she can't attack. So while time stop is a useful defensive tool, it's not the best offensive tool. It does have some use, but if you want to go really fast, you'll want to avoid using it until specific situations, which I'll show in the run. The Q button as well, your heal, mostly used for scouting or healing HP. There's really no other use for it. And then your dash, well, it's a dash. Your ultimate takes around 7 seconds to go off, by the way, so be smart with where you use it. It can make things easier, but it can lose you a bunch of time, but in some cases it will save you time, and we'll also go over that in the run. So I believe that's about it for Maya's moveset and abilities. There are glitches you can do with Maya, but we're not super concerned about those. Now let's get started with an actual run. I'm not going to turn on the timer for this. It's going to be more of a casual playthrough, because I want to take some time to talk about some things as well. But I'm going to restart. Oh, actually, let's talk about checkpoints first before I restart. So this is a checkpoint. These show up wherever there is an objective that the developer wanted you to move to. So as you can see, I moved into it and it spawned enemies. This is a great chance to talk about enemies a little bit. There are 3 enemy types in this game. There is the shield bot, there is the normal bot, and there is what I like to call a bird. The birds you'll see a little bit later, but you can see that these guys move, stand still, and shoot. The shield bots will pull up a shield. That was actually a really good example just now of one of the mechanics in this game, a time slowdown. As you're about to get hit by a bullet, specifically by these bullets, the world will slow down a little bit for you to react. Or you can just get hit like I did. It's a good idea to dodge those and try to avoid not getting anywhere near the bullets, because the time stop actually does slow down the whole world. If you have a timer or you're waiting on something, those will slow down as well. To talk a little bit about the AI of these enemies, as you can see, they're kind of moving around a little bit randomly. Enemies will generally move to get into position to shoot you. And then they kind of just get all super random. But that means that you can bait them into a lot of things. So, if you move out of their line of sight, for example, if I move over here now, it's going to force them to move because they don't have anything else they can do. If you and while they're moving, as long as you don't get too close to them, they don't really re-queue their next action. So it means that you can really play around with enemies. You can also see that sometimes their pathing isn't the greatest. So there you go, great example. They moved into a position where they could shoot me, and then I moved really quickly, and now they can't do anything. I believe enemies can't really see you when you're dashing, or can't see you well while you're in the middle of a dash, so that can be useful to note. Now, you may have noticed that shield bot is actually picking up on me though. Shield bots, well, first, let me talk about the regular bot, and then I'm going to kill him and show you a headshot. And then we'll deal with this shield bot. So the regular bots shoot 3 bullets, they move. They actually are more dangerous than the shield enemies in that they can cost you more time, but the shield enemies are just harder to kill overall. So I'll show you a headshot. So if you look for the head, it's kind of this whole area that's a head on them, and you can see their accuracy isn't great. But I usually aim for around where the eye is. You can get them on the side like that, and a headshot's always 1 hit, 1 kill. Excellent. Now let's talk about shields. Shields. You can't shoot through the shield. Shields have a bigger hitbox than you expect, and they have a lingering hitbox. So be careful when you kill a shield robot. They may stop your other shots. Something else to note is that some geometry has bigger hitboxes than you'd think, and as well, Maya shoots from the right like you see her. So if you're aiming to shoot something that's through a wall and trying to clip through it slightly, you're going to have a bad time because Maya shoots from the right. This also makes shooting things to the left a little harder because it means that you need to have your right clear. So if you come up really close to something and you're trying to shoot to the left, you won't be able to. All right, shields. First thing to know about shields, they move extremely slow. You want to kill shields as soon as possible because they will slow down. They also turtle. Shield robots have a habit of turtling when you target. So if you ever target, they're much more likely to shield up. And if you dash close to them, they're also going to shield up. So let me come up close to this. You see, shielded up really quickly, went for a shot. The other thing they can do is if you get close, he's not doing it because he's already decided to turtle and shoot. They have a shield bash, like that. The shield bash, as you can see, let me heal up. It knocks you back. You go really slow as you get knocked back. And one of the worst parts is if you get shot at by other bots that are using bullets, those will slow down time, but you are invincible while you get knocked back. So sometimes it could be a good idea to get hit by the shield. Something else to notice about the shield, it does half your HP in damage. It hurts a lot. The bullets, on the other hand, do around a third to 30 to 40% of your HP. So those are nowhere near as bad to get hit by. And as you saw there, as I dashed through, the shield bot it attempted to hit me. This is going to be important for later when we have to dash through some shield bots. You can dash through enemies, you can walk through enemies, they don't have collision, so don't worry about that. But for shield robots in particular, that will trigger them to do their bash attack. Which means make sure that when you go through a shield robot, you have enough dash to get all the way through. Because if you stop in them, they will hit you, and it will hurt. Alright. So for shield robots, how do you want to deal with these? You can't shoot them from the front. You have two options. Well, you have more than two options. I just said two options because it sounded cool. If they're moving, you can shoot them. They're pretty much free game while they move. Just get around them, and that's easy. You can just dash. Oh, I got slapped. If they're moving, there's also their arm. Their arm is usually pretty free, so you can pick them off from areas that they can't protect. That's not always super reliable though. So the shield does extend out a little bit more sometimes, and there is some wonkiness with the hit detection. So the ideal way to do it is to bait them into walking, or just have them walk and dash up to them, dash kind of away from them. You want to be kind of like this far away while they're walking and shotgun them. Again, another way you can do it is you can come in close, and when they raise their shield, they actually make themselves vulnerable. So if you come in close spamming your shoot button for the shotgun attack, you can kill them then too. It is a pretty reliable way to do things, and you'll probably see it in the run. Now, what do you do when they've stopped moving? Well, you can they turtle like this. You don't really get around them. They actually immediately turn to face you. You could even see that with the warp, they just like turn to face you. Also, their shots track really hard. So if they're not facing you, they can still shoot you. It's usually just a matter of you having moved too fast and the game not updating the model's position. It's not really that bad either, since you get the slowdown to save you, but good to know. Now, if they've turtled up, what you can do is you can freeze them. And when you freeze them, they can't do anything. So that's always good to keep in mind. But like I said, freezing them is slow. So you ideally don't want to do that. Now, something else that I want to show off as well, if I have the opportunity, is the freeze mechanic stops bullets, and bullets can't hurt you here. This is really important. Time freeze will stop projectiles, and when it's finished, they will just drop to the ground. Keep that in mind. It will save your life and make things a lot easier later down the line. Now, how do we get this kill? Well, typically for these, if they start turtling up, one surefire method is just walk up and start shooting at them. You can start shooting at them and aiming for their open side. I don't usually time freeze. In fact, when this happens, I kind of just bite the bullet and say, well, I screwed up. When they start moving though, just go for the kill. Like that. And it was simple. Just 2 shots, get the kill, and you're good. Birds, let's move up to where birds are and I can talk about those. So we'll take a look at the opening part of this run. As you can see, there's dialogue here. And part of the dialogue is that, you know, you're looking to get information in this game. So, of course, you're going to hack things. This is a hacking point. Hacking points are again marked with the diamond symbol. There are another checkpoint. And you press F to hack. Something I didn't note before, all the controls in this game are fixed. There's not a rebind option. You can rebind them yourself, but I'll be referring to them with the default controls, just so everyone knows. Alright, so you can hack. When you start a hack, you'll have this menu open up, and the goal is to let that bar hit the end. Now, some things to know about hacking. If you take damage while hacking, it won't stop your hacking, which is nice. If the thing you're hacking gets hit, then your hacking will be interrupted, which is not so nice. If you remember back, those enemies didn't have great aim. All their shots did not hit me, some of them missed. So if you get shot while you're in the middle of hacking, it's probably going to reset the hack. Now you can see that this time portal, or this time stop, your left shift is really useful for that because it can stop projectiles from hitting the terminal. The other thing to note about hacking is your hack points are always the same, and as long as you're holding F near it, it will always hack. You have some pretty good range on the hack. Like here it won't work, here it won't work. If I come in a little closer, I'm holding F this whole time. You see it starts working. Your direction doesn't matter. As long as Maya is within range, she will start the hack. So one thing that you'll see me do when I do the speedrun, or if you check out any of my other speedruns, is I'll move over to the hacking terminal. I'll kind of just do this and then hold F during the conversation. And that will immediately start hacking the minute that it finishes. Okay, so I believe that's it for this first section. So let's hack here. Actually, one other thing to talk about. Spawning and spawn locations and spawn manipulation. So first off, spawning. There are 2 types of spawns. There are fixed spawns and spawn points, which basically give you random spawns. That first set of enemies is fixed. They will always spawn right here. It will always be a shield and a regular ball. In this first area alone, there are a few hacking points. So let's take a tour. Or spawning points. The first one is here. So you can have enemies spawn here. The next one is over here. You have enemies spawn either here or here. Next, you have over here. You can have spawns. Behind this wall, you can spawn in some enemies. And down here, there is right behind this dumpster, there's a spawn point, which I believe correlates to this area roughly. So here. And if I go all the way back here, you can see far back around where this pole is. There's another spawn point near there. All of these can spawn enemies for this first hack. In general though, any spawn point that exists can spawn you an enemy. As of now, I believe that spawns are based on your location. So the chance of spawning something is based on where you are in the map. And for some of them, I think they have a little bit of a custom tuning to it to make sure that you don't spawn from the other side of the map, you don't spawn something over here. But as you can see if you watch some runs of this game, you can get spawns basically anywhere. And it doesn't feel like it follows a rhyme or reason. When I hack this terminal though, what you're going to see me do is you're going to see me dash over here. Pretty much in all my runs. The reason is because I want to manipulate the spawns. If I'm over here, I'm closer to this spawn, and the spawn behind the dumpster, which makes it much easier for me to get spawns closer to me that I can kill more quickly. In this case, I also get spawns by this telephone pole, and I'll also get spawns over here, but I won't get far spawns back here. I've never seen a far spawn back here appear when I kind of camp out over here. So that's good to keep in mind. You can manipulate spawns to some degree. I believe that if you went all the way down here, you probably would get spawns over here and over here. And we'll actually try that for this. And maybe one up here and up there. You could probably cut out the two far ones though. Alright. The spawn manipulation is going to be important throughout the whole run. There's basically one area where it doesn't... Okay, it's hard to say it doesn't really matter. But down here, you can kind of see this area here. This is actually where the final fight's going to happen for Chapter 1. This is where spawn manipulation gets kind of shaky. You'll see it when we get to that point, though. So, let's hack this. And now you see I move really quickly to my area, because spawning happens weirdly. So you see we got 2 there. Let's see. We got 3 there. And then we got 1 up there. That's a pretty reasonable spawn pattern. You can 2, 3, 6 enemies. One thing to note about spawns is you have a minimum and a maximum range of spawns. Usually you'll get the minimum 40% of the time you get +1, and like 10% of the time you'll get +2. +2 is basically RNG did not like you today and decided to give you a little bit more trouble. The types of enemies that spawn aren't really random. Sometimes they are, but most times I don't find them to be. This spawn, for example, always spawns at least 2 shields. It may spawn the additional bot, maybe another shield, but this is pretty typical of what you'd expect. As you saw though, coming down here forced the enemies to spawn here and over here, but I didn't, and I got 1 spawn up there, but I didn't get spawns from any of the other locations that I mentioned. Nope. I'd rather not die right now. So let's see how I decide to take care of these. So I like to go for snipes, and watch the bar in the bottom left corner, right above the dash, that white bar that fills up. You can see how much it filled up there, and then see how much it fills up with a shotgun attack. Fills up a different amount. Headshots get you more charge in your bar. That bar is what activates your super. So while it can be easier to kill things with a shotgun, you still do want to favor sniping to a degree. Alright. Those enemies are all taken care of. This wave is done. So now what you'll see, there's a bit of conversation and it activates a new checkpoint. This is what I mean by this game is very checkpoint based, where you'll either have a wave or a checkpoint to let you move to the next thing. As of now, we have not found a way to skip any of these, so yeah, you're playing the game more or less how it's intended. There are some glitches and out of bounds. We haven't found a great way to make use of them, but that's not for this video. So you can see that we need to come up here anyway, which is why I like to camp around here and kind of snipe things. You can get some pretty quick kills. That actually wasn't a bad spawn, so maybe I'll try that in some future runs. But you come up here, we have some new spawns. So this is an additional spawn. You'll always get the 3 bots that spawned here, and sometimes you will get another spawn somewhere else. And those are birds. So let me clear these out, and then we'll talk about birds. Because birds are the worst thing that can happen to you in this game. That was an example of taking the enemies from the shield that had the shield up. Let me kill 1. Well, it's fine. We can deal with 2. So birds are, well, you can see why I call them birds. They look a bit like birds. This is their laser attack. Their laser attack will do half your health and damage. If you get hit by 2 of them like this, you will die. You can only tank 1 hit. Now, I think if I move out of range, can I get them to do their missile attack? This may take a little bit to bait out the right attack. Or they may not do it. That's okay too. I actually haven't let these birds live long enough, so I don't know if they even have the right attack programmed in. I've never seen them use missiles. Anyway, they have 2 attacks, they have these lasers. You get a hint to where the laser is going to be. You get an audio cue and the line, which is really convenient. And it takes a little bit for the laser to go off. For headshots, right around here is where you kill them in the head. If you hit too high, you're actually going to miss. So be a little careful, and if you hit too low, you will too. They can be a little finicky to get headshots on sometimes, so just keep that in mind. They don't move much if you don't really do anything. If you're in range, they very rarely ever move towards you. If you aren't in their line of sight, they will move, for sure. Alright, I'm being proven wrong as I speak. But yes, they move like the other robots. So if you're not in line of sight, they will try and search you out. Alright, let's get this kill. You can see I just missed there. That was a hit, and that was not a headshot. They take 2 shots normally. Pretty much every robot takes 2 shots to kill normally. So that's something to keep in mind. Alright. So this is the next part. You can see there is a checkpoint there. Something to note about checkpoints, a lot of them have really generous, areas. This is 5 meters for 3 meters in, you kind of get there. Alright. So I'm going to kill some of these, and you can kind of see what I mean. Alright, let me kill you. I think this one will do missiles. That's missiles. So those missiles will come out and kind of track you. They don't do a huge amount of damage by themselves. You can survive one of those barrages. The problem with missiles is they are very likely to hit what you're hacking. So if you ever have to hack something with one of these around, you really want them to either do missiles or nothing. But missiles get stopped by time stop because they are projectile. You can't shoot projectiles, by the way, so they will also drop and explode. This is important because it makes missiles easy to handle. On top of being fairly easy to dodge, like most attacks in this game, missiles are slow moving, but the hint of them going off is hard to hear. Let me stop talking and you can take a listen. See, that was it. It kind of sounds like a match, not really a match going off, but like something kind of striking fire. Not easy to tell. They also chip you damage. You don't get a time slowdown with the missiles. And while they don't do a lot of damage, it's possible for you to have up to 5 of these things on screen spamming missiles at you basically back to back, which can do a lot of damage. I have lost runs to this before. So this is everything to know about the birds. Ideally, you can tank one of their lasers. You can tank their missiles, but you never want to tank their missiles while you're hacking. When I do the run, you'll see what I mean by that. Or, once again, you can just take a look at any of the runs, or watch someone stream it, and you'll probably see what's meant by that. It happens during what I call Hack 4 in the splits, but we'll get there. Alright, let's get this kill. And that's kind of a quick summary on most of this game. There's not a whole lot else to talk about, except for pointing out all the spawn points as we go. If I haven't yet, there will be an image linked in the description of this video and on the speedrun.com site that shows you where all the enemies can spawn. So you can take a look at that and see where all the possible spawn points are, and then kind of just localize it to each quote-unquote arena. You can think of this as one arena. Where we were before, you can think of as another one. As you see, they lock us off from previous areas. But, for example, this is what I call Hack 2. Once you do this hack, you'll have a wave of enemies. You'll notice a pattern. Spawns can happen here. You can get a spawn here. You can get a spawn all the way over there. You can get a spawn in this corner. You can get a spawn here, which is actually the same point as in Hack 1. Or actually, no. Yes, this is the same point in Hack 1, where you had the far spawn. So I guess not really close to the light, but close enough. You can get spawns here if you come over this way, here and here. And I believe here as well. So as you'll see, there are lots of potential areas that you can get spawns. Welcome to running this game, and welcome to spawn manipulation. There's a reason why you want to try and be in certain places. Also, I mentioned that there are glitches. There are lots of glitches. This actually can help you glitch out of bounds. But I do no glitches. I do glitchless runs. Anyway, this is about it for your basic rundown, and this will hold you all the way up to Blender. I'll do a video talking about Blender probably a bit later, but for now, let's do a run so you can see what a run looks like in a bit more of a tutorial setting. I will turn on the timer just in case things go well, and I will do my best to commentate on as much as what I'm doing as possible. If there's something I miss, I'll also have an accompanying document to kind of talk through these things a little better, so if you like reading, you can also take a look there. Anyway, let's kick this off. So, for the run, there are some strategies that you'll want to keep in mind. For this first hack, because it's fixed, you can always account for it. So, watch. As you saw there, I positioned myself up here and kind of timed my shot. You can use a lot of the conversations for audio cues in this game. Be sure to keep note of where those are and use them to your advantage. So I came over here, I'm holding F so that I have the hack go off as soon as possible. And hacked. Now I come up here. And I come up here because I like to do these range snipes. As you can see, nothing's spawning. So what that tells me is everything spawned behind me, which is not great. That's okay though. So I took all those out. You can see that I manipulated the spawns to be up here. That was actually a pretty good pattern. Now you see that I walk for this one. The main reason I walk is because I found if you dash into the checkpoint, you'll get the shield bot there is much more likely to turtle up, which is not ideal. Alright. So you'll also see me kind of do a bit of a patrol here because you can get an additional spawn and you don't really know where those come from. Alright. Hack 2. I like to look over here and come to this corner. The idea is that I want to camp these enemies and take out any that walk across, especially if I see a shield. At the same time though, I'm listening for things like missiles. Alright. Now I have enough for a super, so I'm just going to use that. So this is your super. It attracts enemies in, like I said. Each of these supers appear in a specific location on the map. So they are kind of fixed. They're fixed where they can show up, but their effective range isn't too different. So that's all the enemies there. Take your breath. Take your breath is also a cue that you can follow. I call them a beat, but about a second after you hear take your breath, you have an opportunity to kind of hold up. Ooh, good shots. You have an opportunity to dash to hit the checkpoint. That fight is also a fixed spawn. You can get an additional spawn. I dash up to the front like that to prevent additional spawns behind me. What that does is it pushes the spawns in front of me in the worst case. For this fight, you want to kind of stay up to the border here, and you want to hit things more than I have because it goes faster. For these kind of fights in general, you want to kill things as quickly as possible because spawns are capped at a certain amounts. There will be a certain number of enemies that spawn, and once you kill them, that's it. All right. So I'm going to go over here. This is where the next location is. Hit the checkpoint. And for this fight, you want to watch the timing I do here, but this is where you really want to have your super. Alright. So the enemies will spawn in and get attracted into your super if you launch it early. The super takes about 7 seconds, but that can save you 2 seconds on the super, making it a 5-second fight. That is extremely useful for clearing this quickly. So now this is the point where you'll have your next hack. So I'm over here holding F. I will always stand in front of hack points holding F to speed it up. That was a bit of bad movement, but I come over here to manipulate the spawns a little bit. I mentioned before that hack 4 has... Manipulating spawns in hack 4 is a little difficult. You can still do it, but the degree that you can do it to is a little awkward. That's also a little disappointing. Ideally, you don't want to get shots because they slow things down, literally. So you want to try and kill the most dangerous thing here are birds, because they can actually kill you. And then robots without shields, because they're very likely to shoot. The spawn points, as you saw, they spawn over there in the same position that they kind of spawned before. Hold on. I want to get to this point. So yeah, spawn points are basically from all over the map at this point. Now, what you saw there is I was hacking the point again. This one is on a timer. So as you go through, the hack will basically break at certain points in the run, or certain points here. Sorry, I need to concentrate for a second. You need to go back to those points, to the point, and fix the hack, basically. So what we do is we try to limit how many enemies can show up, and this is where birds become your #1 enemy. Alright, I'm going to drop this here. Camp for the hack. So the danger here, I'm protected from bullets, but I'm not protected from lasers. Lasers aren't stopped by the shield because they're not projectiles. Now, I'm pretty sure I don't know what I'm doing with the split times here, so you may want to ignore those. However, this is kind of a good example of a fight that went a little off the rails. The spawn manip here isn't perfect, so there are definitely going to be times where you'll need to kind of improvise. This is a good example. I'm going to use the super. The times that you need to rehack are 149, 129, and 29, I believe. Alright, so I'm going to drop this here, get the hack in, then that. 29 seconds. So we're at the last part of this fight. You can hear the music died down. That means the spawns are slowing down at this point. Alright, excellent. And we're moving into hack 5. When this timer hits 7, no more enemies spawn. So you kind of just survive, like do your last cleanup, survive. That enemy is not worth killing. So what I do is I run up here for the last second, and kind of dash in holding F, and there you go. You've gotten through the hack 5. Something to note, enemies that are still on screen will still be moving at this point. They don't disappear, and you get additional spawns in. That can be a pain. It can also be okay, because they'll walk away like that one did. Now for this, just keep your eyes open as we go through. You'll want to dodge and kind of juke these attacks, and hit that checkpoint. This is where weird checkpoints come in the most. Oh, this is a bad dash through. Alright, we made it through. That was kind of disappointing. I lost a lot of time there. But that is the Chapter 1 escape. That was a pretty poor Chapter 1 escape. But the idea is that you want to dash through the enemies as much as possible. And the last group, you actually want to time stop both the shields and the flying bots, the birds. That way you can dash through them without much issue. So this is Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is kind of a free-for-all, kill everything mission. You're thrown into this room, there are a bunch of enemies that spawn in, and your job is to murder as many of them as possible and try not to die. So the goal here is to build your super as quickly as possible and use it, because that is going to clear so many enemies and make this so much more manageable. There is a spawn cap here as well, and you'll see enemies kind of spawn in. You want to kill any enemies that spawn in as quickly as possible, because the next phase starts when the spawns finish, which is this, and it's just conversation, like 13 seconds of conversation. So kill things as quickly as possible. You have plenty of time to get to the hack point, which is right here. Alright, so now we're done the hack point, on to Blender. This part is pretty straightforward. You just have to go up and wait in the circle. You'll see the circle when I get there. Blunder is hard at first, but once you understand how Blunder works, he's pretty easy. This is Blunder, by the way. He's going to activate after this cutscene. Blunder is more or less all RNG, but the two things that are always true is before 20% health, or from 100 to 80, he will always use Fist and Swipe, which I'll call out as we see him. And after 20, Blunder will open up cores, which you will see more than likely. The Blunder video will talk a bit more about that. So we got Fist first. So this is how you deal with Fist. And Blunder video will more or less handle this. I'm going to focus more on what do you want to do with Blunder. With Blunder, you want to kind of gamble on RNG, because Blunder can take your run plus 30 seconds or save your run with like a minute off. Your damage phases are kind of when Blunder uses his fists, or when he swipes. This is orbs, as we like to call it, big purple orbs. There's a small orbs as well. This is swipe. For these two attacks, you can actually freeze Blunder's hand and you get this nice little bar up top that lets you do a bit of, well, it lets you do a chunk of damage to Blunder. Alright, dash through this. Alright, this is rockets. Blunder will fire a bunch of rockets. If you have more than half HP, just tank it. Like, literally just tank it. There's no need to really concern yourself with killing him. Now, the goal of this is to get him under 20% right now. So we can shift the phase back to, or so we can shift into his good phase. Cores. So this is cores. You can see he comes out of the ground, you have a few cores. You want to kind of run through and kill all of these. Alright. There we go. Killed all the cores, and Blunder dies immediately. You can also bring Blunder's HP to 0. That is much slower. Once you finish that, you're pretty much home free. You have to come up here. You have plenty of time. There's lots of conversation. And line yourself up. That terminal right there is what you need to hack to finish the run. So this is the queue. One. Alright, getting the hack in, and time. That's a run. That's also a new world record. Super convenient that they happened together. A little disappointing that I screwed up the escape in this case. Could have been a much... that probably was a sub 11:30 without it, but either way, that's an overview of the run. Blunder is really complicated to explain in a good run, so I'm not going to try it. I will save it for next, where we'll actually go right into fighting Blunder and talking a little bit about the chapter select and the categories. So, let's jump right into those. Let me save these first. Convenient. So, when you start this game, you have the options of New Game, Continue, and Chapter. For any percent, you start at Chapter 1. For Chapter 2, you start at Chapter 2. For Blunder, what you want to do is you want to do Chapter 2, and then select Continue from Chapter 2, Part 2. When you do this Continue, you'll be taken to Blunder's room. Basically the start of the Blunder fight. Now you see me walk over here, you don't need to do this. I just like coming over here. But we're going to talk about Blunder's mechanics. Alright, so this is time stop. And the hand. What you want to do for when Blunder drops his, or uses his hand to swipe at you like that, is you want to time stop his hand, and then walk around the back and shoot at it. If you don't have the opportunity to do that, you want to chase his hand down and shoot at it when it stops. This is lasers. Lasers is one of the slowest moves that Blunder can give you, but gives you really good damage opportunity. So you kind of want to just stay ahead of it. You can use your Q button to kind of jump around the screen, but the game is telling you to hit the big red point on Blunder's back. In reality, you want to shoot his hand. You can shoot this big red point here like this. It takes 12 shots to completely destroy, and it will do 10% damage to Blunder, as you can see there. It also causes him to kind of freeze up here for a little bit, so you can take advantage of it. Lasers will kill you very quickly. This is rockets, I mentioned before, but rockets, if you have more than half HP, just tank it. Don't even think about, like, seriously dealing with it. During rockets, when Blunder puts his hands down, those are open damage opportunities. you can get around 10% HP damage on that move when he puts it down. You just need to stay close. So this is lasers again. Every laser's opportunity comes with a chance to shoot at his back. If you want to shoot at his back, you can get some pretty tight angles in on it. Like from here, you can see I'm doing damage. The way to get the most damage is to just shotgun his hand as quickly as you can. As you can see, he does freeze a little bit, so there are extra damage opportunities there. I'll show you the damage opportunity here on this. As you can see, you kind of just come up. Okay, I didn't need to heal there. This is bullets. For bullets, align yourself like this and dash across these two areas because the bullets will get caught on these ramps. So kind of make your way over here. If you don't have that opportunity, just come up close to something and kind of hope that it hits things quickly. Alright, so lasers. Like I said, lasers will kill you extremely quickly. Just an example. That's lasers. I was at half HP and it didn't kill me immediately, but that's not a whole lot of time to react. Let's start from the beginning. Oh, that's not the beginning I wanted to. Alright. We can talk a little bit about this fight in that case. This is, if you were to start chapter 2, this is where you would start. Which means that you have an opportunity to kind of just clear this and practice this fight. Alright. Other things to note about Blender. So Blender... Actually, let's not talk about Blender. Let's deal with this. Because this is actually a really easy fight to die in. As you can see, there's a lot that happens here, and there are a lot of enemies. Here's actually a good thing to talk about. This is a known glitch in the game. If you're in some situations, and very commonly in Chapter 2, in the Chapter 2 fight, you will use your super, and you will be able to move while your super is going off. It's not against the rules, it still qualifies as glitchless, but it puts you in a weird state. As you can see, bullets will slow you down still, but you can move out of the way of them. You can also reposition yourself, so it can be useful if you know there are far enemies that didn't get caught, to walk towards them so that when you come out of it, you can kill them pretty quickly. I haven't explored much with that glitch. I don't believe anyone really has as of yet. It can be extremely useful. It's not super consistent how you activate it though. Alright, back to Blender. So this is how you would do Chapter 2. You want to start from checkpoint if you wanted to grind out Blender or practice some of his moves. As I mentioned before, Blender is really hard your first time through because it's hard to tell what he's doing, and it feels like it's really easy to die. But you have a lot of survivability. So here's the swipe. Once again, you time stop the swipe, you shoot the back of his hand. I'm not going to keep shooting him. You can see how long it kind of lasts though. The time that your stop lasts doesn't change if you shoot the back of his hand though, so don't worry about that. Second swipe. You want to dash through it and then come over here so you can shoot the back of his hand. You also want to dash through that attack so you can keep shooting it. The goal of that phase, well, let's talk about fists a little bit. He'll slam his fist down. This is the same as swiping. You'll want to shoot the back of his hand and then come over here. Something important to note. When you break the back of Blender's hand on either of those phases, you can't do damage through that plate anymore. So this part there, you can't hurt him through it. You need to move and hit the white part of his hand afterwards. So yeah. Now, if you get grabbed by Blender's fist, or by Blender's swipe, so like this, you'll have a time slowdown, so it's really easy to get away from. Just hit Q, and you'll be out of it. Easy, safe, save your Qs for those moves. The fist slam, like I said before, has a bit of range from the shockwave. Now, I'll show you what I mean with the damage. So, Blender is going to drop it. I'm shooting here. Now you see I'm still shooting, and I'm not really doing damage to Blender. Once you break the plate, dash through his hand and start shooting the inside of his hand. Now you can see that we were above 70% that whole time, and Blender didn't really do much else than swipe and fist slam us. Once you get past 80% in his HP, or once you get to 80%, under 81, Blunder will start adding new moves to his repertoire. You saw rockets just now, and this is laser, which we've already talked about a little bit. Laser lasts about 33 seconds. You can get around 30 to 35% damage on Blunder by spamming this, or you can end the phase early by shooting the back of his hand, and that will cut out a couple of seconds. Like I said, shooting the back takes around 12 seconds to do, so be careful. Here's bullets. I'm in position, dash here, dash here. Usually that will destroy the bullets. Some cases they won't, just feel free to dash around again. So this is lasers again. When you see him charging up, he's doing lasers. It's pretty much it. Alright. So, I showed you how lasers can kill quickly. One strategy is you can use your Q to kind of get over into position quickly. But if you keep walking around, you'll actually end up pretty close to the next hand and be able to shoot it from this side. Just make sure you're shooting the white part and not the plate, because you won't do damage to the plate. His fingers also don't take damage. If you shoot his fingers, it will actually just go through to the palm, so that's important to note. Alright, here's more fist. I kind of want to get orbs out. We should probably do some damage though, just to make sure that we can show off cores a little better. Alright. So, like this. This is how you want to handle fist. Come inside and just start mashing as fast as possible. You just want all your bullets to hit, which is why... Oh, hold on. So this is big orbs. Big orbs are basically a one-hit kill. He'll throw these orbs down, just kind of move to the back and dash across. That will let you dodge them. They move very slowly, so yeah, they should be easy enough to dodge. Now with some more bullets, I'm going to heal up. This is lasers. He has one more move that he hasn't showed us yet, which we lovingly call little orbs. I like to call them run killers. It is the slowest move in his arsenal and gives no opportunity for doing extra damage, so it kind of sucks. Big orbs are a little faster, but you don't really have an opportunity to do damage. Speaking of damage, you can shoot Blunder, and if you look, it does damage to him, but it doesn't really do much. After playing through this fight more than a few times, what at least I've learned is it's not worth it to shoot Blunder like this. In the damage phases that you have access to, you can do more than enough damage to take out Blunder very quickly. The ideal combination, your perfect RNG, is to get swipe, fist, swipe. What that does is it gives you 3 damage opportunities, a free 30% damage on Blunder by destroying the back plate. All you have to do is time your time stop properly. Oh, took some damage there. I'm going to heal up. And from shooting alone, you can do around 12 to 15% damage. So I'll show you on the next one. Just keep track of Blunder's HP when he does the next swipe or fist, and I'll show you just how much damage I get in. Your goal in this fight is to get Blunder to 20% HP or less, so you can activate cores. You can also get Blunder to 30% HP and wait for laser, but laser is slow, as you can see. It's a long phase. Half of it is spent dodging. The other half is damage opportunity. Whereas fists, you have a lot of damage opportunities while fists are going off. So here's swipe. So I'm going to take this to do damage and show you what I can do. This is going to take him under 20%, and we were at 42. So I did over 20% damage. In fact, at this point, I don't need to do more, but I will just to show you what your damage potential looks like. So you can drop a bunch of shots into him here, and there you go. So this is cores. You are on a timer. You want to shoot all the cores down to kill Blunder. And that's the fight. The strategy that I just showed there is how I prefer to do it, which is you stand, the cores will always spawn in the same place. So stand near one of the cores, right? Shotgun it. It should take, if you're this close, it should take 1 or 2 shots. Your shotgun has some really ridiculous spread, so you can miss a few of the bullets. But stand close, shotgun it, then take a chance and snipe. Take your time and snipe those shots over there, or the core that's opposite. Once you finish that, so 1, 2, it will take 4 shots to snipe a core. Dash over and reload. shotgun this one, and then shoot the last core with 4 shots. Your shot timing is kind of important to going fast, because if you remember when I was talking about, or if you've watched the video where I talk about your shooting, if you mash, this is how fast you shoot. Like, this is me mashing the click. If you time it, you can see that you can shoot a lot faster. So you want to get your timing down to shoot these, because it can be significant, especially if you get off timing and you're doing it twice. That's the fastest way I've found so far to deal with Blender. So yeah, or deal with the cores phase. If you take too long, you just die, and that's that. The other option is bringing Blender down to 0% HP. The only case that that's usually going to happen is if you get something like lasers right before 20%. Like, you can bring Blender down to, like, you know, somewhere between 25 and 30% HP. In that case, if Blender does lasers, you want to take the opportunity to just kill Blender. So go after the hand, do as much damage as possible, try to kill him, bring him down to 0. If you get to 0 HP, you'll skip this cores phase. If cores come up, you can still shoot Blender and get him down to 0, and that will also end the fight as well. We didn't get to see orbs, little orbs. So I'm going to try this fight again. I'm going to try this fight seriously just to show how fast it can potentially go. So this is how I take care of this fight. You see me walking in here. It's mostly to bait in the attack into a nice place. And then you see that's 23. I do over 25% damage in that phase. That's pretty good on one fist. So then I also like to take some pot shots on the other one, and I'm almost at 30% damage. So you can see why 3 phases of fist or swipe, you can get a lot of damage in. So this is big orbs. Big orbs isn't quite what we want to see. Here are small orbs. Blender's worst attack, and I'm in a pretty bad position for it. So you can see small orbs. You can time stop small orbs. These count as projectiles, and it does a good job of stopping them. It's kind of a bullet hell pattern, though. One way that you can deal with it is time stopping them, like that. You'll usually have a path forward. You can also dash through those orbs. You won't take damage. So another strategy that I use to kind of preserve the time stop, just in case, is I will move to the back of the arena and dash through as quickly as possible. So here's Blender kind of just shooting at his hands. The game gives you a lot of time to attack Blender here because it expects you to attack the point on his back. But you don't need to. Alright, so rockets, you can see rockets is another damage opportunity. I have more than half HP, so I'm just going for it. And then he's going to give me fist. So I'm at 33% HP and he gave me fist. Now I'm at 20. I can stop attacking at this point. I kind of just continue mostly out of boredom. But I can't kill Blender from here. Something to note is cores do damage to Blender's total HP, but you can't really get enough damage in. So let's look at this core strat again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was some bad clicking. 2, 3, 4. Done. That's a Blender fight. The world record for Blender right now is 1 minute 26 seconds, I believe, without loads. That fight has what we call perfect RNG. You have a swipe, fist, swipe pattern. I don't believe I'm going to get swipe, fist, swipe in showing these off. I want to show off one more fight with Blender just to kind of give you a bit of an idea. As you understand Blender's patterns, it becomes easier. For your time stop, Blender tracks you slowly and doesn't track you well towards the back of the arena. So if you back away while holding your portal kinda about a shotgun's length away, you can actually avoid it pretty consistently, and then time stop it the minute you see the fist hit the ground. So now let's see what Blender does. So rockets. Rockets, like I said, just come up close to rockets and shoot at the hand. Tank the damage if you have more than half HP. I don't believe more than one rocket can actually hurt you. And at this point, I still have my heal. So if I see another set of rockets coming, or if I feel in danger, like the laser gets too close, I can always heal up. So as you've been seeing as well, this is kind of a good damage opportunity. One alternate way that you can deal with Blunder is you can do a bunch of damage to his hand. You can do about anywhere from 12 to 15% damage, and then take another set of shots at his hand, like that. So you can see here, another fist, right? Just wait until the fist hits the ground, and then start shooting at him. Alright, I'm going to stop here for a second, and I'm not going to bring Blunder lower than this, because another damage phase basically takes him to 20%. So, here's lasers again. That's most of what you need to know about Blunder. Don't worry about taking shots as you go. It can be good if you want to style on Blunder, but it's not really helping you. As you can see, most of the damage that you do is during his vulnerable phases. So one other thing to note about lasers is if you take out the back here, it actually makes the phase go faster. It takes 12 shots all hitting to take out his back, but also you see that this goes a lot faster now. He recovers quickly after you break his back. Alright. I will purposely show you what happens if you don't kill the cores. So yeah, you have a lot of time to kill the cores. It's not really that tight. If you want to go fast, it's really tight because time stops on Blunder percent when you get the skull in the center, because that's when Blunder dies. But that's the Blunder fight. There isn't much else to it. It takes a little bit of practice to get comfortable with the attacks. Like the fist, you kind of want to back away and hold your reticle about there, kind of like the shotgun approach. For the swipe, it's good to see it. Just walk into it and put the time stop right in front of you, between you and the fist. You want to dash into the fist or into his hand and time stop it. As before, you shoot the back of the fist, or you shoot the back of his hand to break it, and then you dash across to do damage. And then for the second swipe, you want to chase it so you can get another damage opportunity in. Alright, so this is swipe again. You can see time stop on the swipe. It's okay if you miss the first swipe. You can always do the same to the second swipe. So you come in here, and you can see I'm not doing any damage. Now I'm suddenly doing damage again. So you want to make sure to dash through. And when you dash through, also reload. Get into a good habit of reloading in your downtime, because it is going to help you a lot. Alright, as you can see, your time stop will reload in time to take advantage of the phase, even if you miss it. So I didn't reload there when I dashed, and I really should have, but it's something I'm still learning too. Shot management and timing is really important. Alright, here's orbs. I'll show you the other way that I handle orbs. And it's kind of like this. I just kind of go around the outside of the arena and try to dash ahead of the orbs. As you can see, I'm kind of out of dashes. It's getting a little risky, but there you go. Easiest way is just to drop the time stop and be done with. Now, we'll end this with showing, again, how quickly lasers kill you. Be careful of lasers. Don't risk the run to trying to get extra shots in. You have plenty of time to do lots more damage than you would have, because you don't hurt Blunder very much when you're shooting him outside of the shotgun on his hands. Anyway, that's pretty much everything to this game. There's not a whole lot more to talk about. I believe I've gone over everything. I may make a more concise video for Blunder, because this one did go a little long and had some interruptions because I hit from the beginning. That's actually one last good point. From the beginning takes you to the start of chapters, from checkpoint takes you to the start of parts. If you want to run Blunder, make sure to hit restart from checkpoint. If you're doing an any percent run and you die on Blunder or chapter 2, you have to go back to title screen and go to chapter select in order to continue your run, or to restart your run. Anyway, I believe that's all I wanted to talk about. And yeah, that's kind of your quick and dirty tutorial. Hopefully I have some time and I learn how to do some video editing to make a really nice one, but this one should tide us over in the meantime. I'll be working on a written version to help people who aren't really fond of videos, as well as sharing the picture with all the spawn locations. I just have to edit that and I can put it up pretty quickly. As always, thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully this made the game a little more approachable or even potentially speedrunnable for you. We love to see more people join the community, so you're always welcome. Hop by speedrun.com and check out the Dawn, and also join our Discord where there are plenty of people who can give you a hand. Alright, and I will catch you all later. See ya, and best wishes.